Right now, we turn to the story that has captivated social media over the past 48 hours. Turnout, turnout, turnout. Okay, listen, prior to last Tuesday's election, many of us in national media emphasized that turnout would likely decide the outcome of the midterms. From right here in my distant New York City studio, I urge everyone to get out and vote. But while some of us were just analyzing and emphasizing, community organizers were on the ground in their neighborhoods canvassing to encourage people to get out and vote. The organizers that you just saw there are part of an effort called #FreeTheVote in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Now, it was coordinated by a nonprofit group called Neighborhoods Organizing for Change, or KNOC. One of the volunteers, the woman you see here in a purple hoodie sweatshirt, is Minneapolis Mayor Betsy Hodges. And right here, she's posing for a photo with another volunteer named Nevelle Gordon. Now, I want to stop for a moment, because this moment, which seems like kind of an insignificant pause in a busy day, is about to become quite significant. I want you to look at the picture. What do you see? Do you notice that both Mayor Hodges and Mr. Gordon are pointing at each other? Because that fact has become a source of actual controversy in Minneapolis, thanks to this Thursday report by Jay Coles at the city's ABC affiliate, KSTP, alleging that Mayor Hodges was caught, quote, posing with a convicted felon while flashing a known gang sign. He added that the station was alerted to the photo by law enforcement after they discovered the photo on Gordon's Facebook page while doing investigative work. The report goes on to add that Gordon is, quote, a twice convicted felon for drug selling and possession and illegal possession of a firearm, and is currently sentenced to 5 years at the St. Cloud Correctional Facility, with the prison term stayed for 3 years while he is under supervised probation until 2016. Here's a portion of that report as it aired last week, in which a retired Minneapolis police officer is interviewed.
She's legitimizing these people that are killing our children in Minneapolis, and I just don't get it. It hurts.
Responding to criticism of the report, KSTP issued this statement Friday morning. Quote, law enforcement sources alerted KSTP TV to a photo they believed could jeopardize public safety and put their officers at risk, especially given the recent increase in gang violence. Multiple sources from several law enforcement agencies told 5 Eyewitness News the photo had the potential for undermining the work they are doing on the streets. 5 Eyewitness News blurred the individual's face and did not name the group he was working for because police called into question only the judgment of Mayor Betsy Hodges. Now, the station also ran a follow-up report that same day on their website, quoting the same retired Minneapolis police officer you saw in that news clip, Michael Quinn, saying that the mayor's gesture was a, quote, known gang sign of one of the most violent gangs in Minneapolis, and they will use this to their advantage, and that the presence of the photo on Gordon's Facebook page could provoke crime from another gang in retaliation for the perceived disrespect. Gordon does not deny his record. He made note of it in a KNOC voter canvassing video posted shortly after KSTP aired their story.
I made some mistakes in life, you know. I can't vote. I'm not ashamed to say that, but I'm working on fixing that right now, so I can be able to vote for my next president. Do you understand?
That was Gordon. That said, Gordon was most recently arrested and charged with trespassing in September outside a local grocery store, as he was collecting signatures for a petition to restore felons' voting rights, according to the Minneapolis Star-Tribune. After an employee reportedly asked Gordon to leave, the 22-year-old had a brief exchange with a Minneapolis police officer who then tackled and handcuffed him. According to the newspaper's report, when several witnesses protested Gordon's treatment, the officer reportedly threatened to shoot them if they persisted. That action provoked a march led by KNOC on the grocery store. You can see Gordon here in the Miami hat as protesters' demands were being delivered to the store. And as for the other person in that photo, Mayor Hodges, well, Mayor Hodges was elected last year on a platform of addressing inequality. environment, and education. And 1 month ago, she took a strong position on law enforcement and community relations. On the same day, the U.S. Justice Department review concluded the city's police department must be, as the Star Tribune put it, far more aggressive in rooting out bad police officers. She wrote this in an open letter to the community, quote, "Some officers abuse the trust that is afforded to them and take advantage of their roles to do harm rather than prevent it. And that those officers' behavior disrupts community trust for all officers in the community." Mayor Hodges sent a statement to KSTP, which the station included in its initial report. It read in full, quote, "My job as mayor is to be as accessible as possible to the residents of Minneapolis and help build relationships and trust in every community in our city. I constantly meet people and organizations who are working to make our communities stronger, including last weekend when other community leaders and I joined members of Neighborhoods Organizing for Change to increase voter participation in North Minneapolis. It was a diverse group, including people who have made mistakes in their past. The more supportive that we can all be of people who are making better choices now, the better off we all will be in the future." Joining me now from Minneapolis to discuss this are Anthony Newby from Knock Neighborhoods Organizing for Change and Nevelle Gordon, the man who appeared in the photo with Mayor Hodges. Nice to have you both here.
Good to be here.
Now, Nevelle, I want to ask you, look, we've seen the video, we've seen the picture, but can you describe in your own words what you were doing in the moment when you took the picture with the mayor?
I was blessed to be in the mayor's presence. I was pointing at the mayor. I was offered to take her out and canvas and show how Neighborhood Organized for Change do work.
Had you ever met the mayor before that moment?
I seen her at a couple events that we had.
So I
But
actually...
no, I seen her.
She seems like a lovely person. I met her myself. I was in Minneapolis last month. I met her and her husband at an event at which I spoke. But I guess part of what I'm wondering here is, you know, the language has been that you maybe duped her into making this sign, that you knew that it was a gang sign, that you encouraged her to do it, and then you put it up on the Facebook page in a way that could provoke violence. Is any of that part of what you were either thinking at the time or have been thinking since?
Not at all. It was just a blessing to be with the mayor, and I was putting pictures up. I want everybody to see the progress that I'm making out here.
Talk to me a little bit about that progress. Actually, Anthony, if you could talk to me for a moment. You know, there's also been, I think overwhelmingly, the people of Minneapolis have looked at this story and said, this does not seem like a real story. There's been a high level of critique of the television station. But then there have been some folks who in response have said, well, why does Knock, you know, hire people who have felon records?
You know, we've been unapologetic. There's lots of folks on our staff who have made mistakes in the past. Nevelle is one of them. And it's important to note that we knocked on 55,000 doors this year, had almost 20,000 voter conversations, increased voter turnout in the area that Nevelle worked and did the most work, in a state where voter turnout was down 5.5%. So we're proud not only of the work that we do, but we're proud to hire folks with past records, give them a second chance, and Nevelle's a perfect example of that.
Actually, hold on for a second here, because I want to take a listen to a video made by Knock of Nevelle and another organizer, and something that was said in the video, and then I want to come back and ask a question about it. Let's take a listen for a moment.
I never seen those officers a day in my life. I'm not a drug dealer. They just want to stop young black men and get into our brains, man, but we can't let them do that.
Exactly.
We got to step outside the box and show our younger generation and set an example for our kids, man. You got to think about the future.
So we understand that this photo was brought to the attention of the local police station by officers who claim to have found it on the Facebook page while doing investigative work. I wonder, given that apparently they're looking at Mr. Gordon's Facebook page and what you were saying there, Mr. Gordon, about having had these interactions with police, do you think that you are being targeted in any way?
Yes, I do think that, and I think that's very disrespectful, because the person that put this all out there, I wonder why he's not being targeted, and he has a criminal background as well. Is they looking at that?
Oh, well, so I don't know that piece of it. We'll take a moment on our commercial break and take a look at that. I do want to ask you, Anthony, the retired police chief that we or retired police officer that we heard about has said that this photo could actually increase tensions, potentially make the world, Minneapolis in particular, more dangerous. Do you think that's an accurate assessment?
We think it's absurd. If you look at the photo, it's two individuals pointing at each other. What's made Pointergate such a national phenomenon is there are thousands, millions of photos floating around the internet, online, and people's personal cell phones today at this very moment of people pointing at each other in photos. So if that's the only evidence that the MPD or this news station have that Nevelle is a gang member, and in fact, apparently the mayor is involved in gang activity. So if that's the only evidence that they have, we think they need to be held accountable for that. And there's a public outcry right now to pull sponsorship from this particular news affiliate, to ask the FCC to actually look into the licensing that they've issued to this news station. You cannot recklessly issue this kind of, frankly, racist coverage and expect there not to be pushback. And we're really excited that the whole country is talking about this.
Thank you.
We'd like to thank everybody for supporting us as well.
Thank you to Anthony Newby and to Nevelle Gordon in Minneapolis, Minnesota. You can bet that we will continue to watch this, as will apparently all of social media. So thank you for joining us this morning. When we come back, I want to bring in some more voices into this discussion and show everyone at home just how this story blew up online, involving everyone from President Clinton to Snoop.